potentially infect Betty. I have already had the COVID, but now we're hearing of cases where people had two of them, so we've got to be careful.
Thank you.
Two different strains. And so that's why it's important that we do wear our masks. I do take it off when I'm at a distance and talking to people, and it's funny how sometimes, not our local media, but some media sources that may not care for me, maybe on the other side of the aisle, they'll print the picture of me talking in front of a group and say, look, he isn't wearing a mask. Well, of course not. I'm more than 6 feet away from anybody. I'm talking. It's very hard to talk. As Bill said, it can be kind of stifling and you can't be heard. So that's when I take my mask off. Look, I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to have been invited to this. I was very proud to vote for the CARES Act. And what a lot of people don't know about the CARES Act is this isn't something Congress worked on for months and months and months and then suddenly, came to an agreement. This was something where we had to act quick for the betterment of the economy of the United States and to try to make things better across the board because of coronavirus. And the president's team got in there and negotiated in good faith with people on the right and the left, et cetera, because we needed to do this for the United States of America, and we got it done. Now, the federal government does have a way of having accurate but sometimes misleading numbers. So I'm going to shed a little light on that because Betty, not supposed to. There are 21 million people, I think you said, who have no service. That's accurate. But as many of you know, there are people who have, at least in the 9th District, and y'all may know some of them, who have service. It's dial-up. And they're still using dial-up in parts of the 9th District. You remember that old days when you go, it had these weird noises and then you'd get connected. That counts as having internet service. But you can't really do telehealth on dial-up. You can't do long-distance learning or remote learning on dial-up. What this is going to do for all those people, those various farms who are now using technology to make their product more efficient, compete in the world market, those people who are now getting this service, those students, those schools, that town hall, those facilities at the fire station, all of those folks are now going to have not only some kind of service, but they're going to have state-of-the-art, top-shelf service up to 1 gigabyte of service available to them. This is exciting. And this is what we're trying to do in Washington, D.C., and why I was very proud to vote for the CARES Act. And we may have another version of it that comes out, but right now, instead of trying to do everything just to get the job done for the people of the United States of America, some of the new versions that have been proposed have, Green New Deal, et cetera in it. Can't vote for those. But when it's something that makes sense for the American economy and to expand broadband, you can always count on my vote. And I'm very, very pleased to be here today for this very important announcement. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize, am I supposed to go ahead and introduce Terry? You're going to introduce Terry? All right, I'll let you introduce Terry. But I'll just tell you, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Terry, because this is something the state has also been working on, and I'm going to let him tell you about that after he's introduced by Bill. And I should say this about Bill. I should say something else about Betty too. Bill talks about this stuff all the time. Every time I'm with him, doesn't matter where I'm at, doesn't matter what I'm doing, he'll sit down and he'll say, now let me talk to you about it. We're going to expand. We need help expanding our service area. We've got to get more broadband out here. So he's got a good board, but don't let him fool you. He is working on this, I'm sure with state legislators too, but with the federal legislators all the time he's talking about it. And then I have to tell you that Betty was actually a constituent of mine when I was in the House of Delegates. She's just outside the district. I might get her in the next redistricting, who knows, into the 9th. But she's just outside the district, but she's been working on all kinds of issues to try to help rural communities for as long as I've known her. Not quite as long as Bill's known her, but for a number of years back from when I was in the House of Delegates to today. And so we appreciate all your hard work. And she really does understand and love the rural parts of Virginia as much as probably anybody in D.C. other than myself. But anyway, thank you very much for letting me be with you all today, and I look forward to us having more of these announcements in the future.